Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Today, I'm joined by the beautiful and gorgeous and attractive Mrs. Carmela McNeal. Carmela, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you, Ken?
I'm doing good. Sorry, I had to after that conversation.
I'll take it.
I've been so excited about this. This is something we've been trying to work together for a while, and scheduling conflicts have made it so it's had to be sporadic, but we're finally here together today, and it means so much to me. For those of you may recognize Carmela from Halloween 2018, as well as the new Halloween kill. She is Vanessa, also credited as the sexy nurse, who is a doctor, not a nurse. That's just a Halloween costume. But she's also been in The Resident, Being Mary Jane, ATL Homicide, just to name a few things. And you can also follow her on all her social medias. All the links are in the description of this video. Now, before we talk about the reason you're here, before I talk about Carmela, I want to talk about Vanessa. And I can tell you that in Halloween Kills, you and Marcus gave me the biggest belly laugh in the parking lot. And we can't spoil anything here because there are still people that haven't seen it. We haven't had a Blu-ray release yet, so I don't want to get too spoilery.
Who are those people? Get out and see Halloween Kills. Watch it on Peacock, please. You're a little slow, a little late. Come on, let's get on.
And what I love about Vanessa is, much like final girls throughout the history, she's not relying on somebody else. She doesn't mind taking the reins and let me handle this. If you don't think you can handle this, let me handle this shit. So I love the character of Vanessa. Now, in the growth from Halloween 2018 to Halloween Kills, the growth of Vanessa, obviously, as a character is a lot. Now, is that something that meant a lot to you to see your character grow, or is it something that you kind of expected to happen?
Oh, I was so excited to have her grow because what do you know about Vanessa or the sexy nurse in 2018? Nothing. So to learn anything about her and to bring me back, to give me a story and a backstory, and for me as an actress to create a whole world around Vanessa was just a pleasure. And I guess that showed when we performed. I don't know how Michael Smallwood, who's my who plays Marcus, I don't know how he goes about his acting, but I know that I research and I do a whole backstory on the character. So it was good for me to be able to do that as well. So, yes. And
you guys played a pivotal role in this movie because one, you guys are human. I'm here with my wife on a date, guys. Can we please enjoy the show? That's why we're here. I get to spend a day with my wife finally. And this is stuff that I've been with my wife for 16 years. And I talk about how when I get to take my wife out on a date, I'm the asshole old man in the movie theater. Get off my lawn, kids. Stop laughing. Stop being loud while I'm taking my wife out. So, to see that humanization between you two and to watch the growth of you. And even, I'm trying to think of the best way to word this without it being spoiled. Vanessa goes out on her own terms. She's not someone that's going to play a victim. And that's what I love about Vanessa. She's not somebody that's just going to hide behind a couch or in a closet. She's going to go to the forefront and do what she has to do. Was that hard for you to portray, or do you think that was Carmela coming out in Vanessa?
No, that was Carmela. That was a little bit of Carmela in there. I think with Vanessa and Carmela, there are a lot of similarities. There are a lot, but Vanessa is unique because she's in a situation that hopefully Carmela won't ever be in, and hopefully none of us will.
Right.
So I think Carmela overthinks a lot of things, and Vanessa doesn't. So I think that because Carmela would have went home, because Carmela would not have. Carmela would have went home. Oh, y'all want to go chase Michael Myers? All right, well, let me know how that works out. I'm going to go ahead on home. Marcus, you going with them? Okay, go ahead with them. But I'm going to go ahead on home. And
text me the results.
Right. I'll have you something to drink when you get home, baby. If you get home, because I'm not going. Carmela wouldn't go. So yeah, Vanessa is definitely different than me in that aspect. But I she wanted to help out, so that's good. So yeah, that's why she was in the midst of it. And I think if you really look at it, and not to be spoilerly, but it is. I feel like Vanessa kind of started the whole. Well, she did start the whole, yeah, the mob rules thing. She started it because she thought she saw Michael Myers, or for people who haven't seen it, sorry, spoiler alert. She started the whole Tivoli thing. So yeah, so she was pivotal in this.
She really is, and because she comes out and, like you said, unfortunately, it's kind of the whole mob mentality starts with her, but for a good reason. After everything that we've seen and everything that she's been through, and now to see somebody in her backseat, what is she supposed to think?
Right.
You know, and that's the scene I was talking about earlier. That scene look, I love Big and Little John. I love them to death. But I laughed the hardest at that parking lot scene. Fuck that! Like, I thought that was genuinely amazing.
Go look.
Another question I have now for Carmela in this, you got to work with some of the biggest stars of the Halloween franchise, some of the OG characters. Now, we're going to get into your first horror movie. Spoiler, it is not John Carpenter's Halloween, but it is a John Carpenter film. Now, obviously, you are now a part of the John Carpenter universe, which is fucking amazing. That's something that can never be taken away from you, my love. And that's something that I think is absolutely incredible. What was it like being able to work with some of these OG Halloween ladies and gentlemen, you know, knowing that what they've created, you know, John Carpenter created this thing, but these actors, actresses, they really, you know, catapulted this to being the forefront when it comes to horror royalty. You know, to me, Halloween is probably, even though I grew up more of a Friday the 13th fan, I'm sorry, Halloween is cream of the crop when it comes to the horror world. That's what it's always based off of. Everybody knows Michael. Everybody knows the theme song. Everybody, you know, that's what it is. And so to me, Halloween is the cream of the crop in horror. What was it like for you to be able to work with some of these people that really paved the way for what the horror world is now?
It was an honor. It was an honor, absolute honor. When I first met Nancy Stevens, it was like, I was telling her how she was royalty to the Halloween franchise. And she's very, very humble. She's just like, no, you know. And I was like, because she was the first person I worked with. So I just kept saying to myself, like, I can't believe that I'm here with Dr. Loomis, nurse, like Nurse Marion. Like, you know, so and she, even though she's aged, she still looks beautiful and the same. So it's like you're looking at the same. And then not only her, like her husband is Halloween royalty, Rick Rosenthal. Like he did Halloween 2, he directed Halloween 2 and Resurrection. So it's like she's like a staple in the Halloween franchise. So to work with her was like amazing. It's Kyle Richards. It was good to work with her. I know she was Lindsay at the, you know, in Halloween 1978, but I'm like a huge Housewife fan, so I knew her from that as well. So I was more excited about the Housewives. I'm sorry to say that, but yeah, I was. And but I know how much she means to the franchise as well. So first of all, as a fan, to have them come back was huge. And to work alongside them was even better. Like I remember reading the script and I remember seeing that first scene that you see when we're in the bar and then they come in and I'm like, we're in the scene with them. Like I'm going to see Kyle. Like I'm going to see Nancy Stevens. This is before I even got to Wilmington. I'm like, I'm going to see these people. Like I'm going to see Anthony Michael Hall. You know, like this is crazy. So yeah, I was, and not only see them, like I hung out with them. Like we were like actually cool. Like, you know, so it's like, I have a friend in Anthony Michael Hall and Kyle Richards and Nancy Stevens now and and Robert Longstreet. Like these are my friends now. So yeah. And we belong to this world. That's amazing.
And watching you glow about this shows how much it really means to you. And that's so awesome to see. I can tell that you appreciate this for what it is. This isn't something that you're like, yeah, I got to work with these people. Like this means the world to you. And it's infectious to watch how appreciative you are about this. And I think it's hilarious that they're like, okay, so you're going to be working your first scene with Nancy Stevens, no pressure, but this is what you're going to be doing. Like that's so incredible. And I'm so happy for you and so proud of you. And I got to give a shout out real quick. My dude, Bobby Torres, Bobby Likes It Spooky, great friend of mine. Yeah, when I told him I'd be working with you, he got so excited. So I got to give a shout out to him. He'd kill me if I didn't, but he loves
Oh,
you to
thank
death.
you.
I love you to
I
death.
love him too. Yeah, thank you, and love you too. Like you guys, the support that I've gotten from like everyone, like even before the movie came out, like I always joke and say I had like my 11 fans, but I had like Bobby was one of them, like a small group of fans who just latched on to me and held on through the whole pandemic and everything else. And they never knew what my role was. Like all they knew was that I was coming back and they were on board for it. So, and with them added with the fans that I have now since it came out, it's just every day I look at my Instagram and I'm just like, wow, these people really want to follow me. These people like me. Like there used to be a time when I used to try to grow my Instagram and people would, follow you and then unfollow you and then follow you and unfollow you. And I was just like, you know what? I don't even care if I have people follow me on Instagram. But now that I have authentic people,
Yeah.
besides just my family and friends who are actually interested in me, it made me interested in Instagram and wanting to give you guys more to let you know who I am. And that's why these interviews are very important to me as well. So thank you for having me because
Yeah.
it gives me a chance to give the fans an inside glimpse of me. And mostly I'm just like you. So
Right. And that's what I was going to say. Like you say that these people latch onto you. And I think the reason why is because of how infectious you are. And I'm not saying this is lip service, but we've had a lot of conversation leading up to this. This isn't one just hey, do you want to do this? Sure. We'll meet then. We've had a lot of conversation in the last month and a half trying to make this work. And
yes.
I've been so excited every time I've gotten to talk to you. And thank you, like you said, thank you for Instagram because it connects people like us together. And
yes.
If you guys want to get connected, the link's right down here in the description. So make sure you're following her. She's infectious and she's a great person. And I cannot wait to see the bright future that you have ahead of you. I'm so excited to see what you're doing in the future, whether it be horror or whatever. I am no longer just I can say it from the bottom of my heart. I'm no longer a Vanessa fan strictly. I'm a Carmela fan. So I'm excited to see what the future has for you and what you're going to be doing. So you have the thing is in the horror community, something I've learned a long time ago. Once you're a part of us, you're always a part of us. And we're always going to support you. We're always going to have your back. We're always going to support everything you do because you've touched our lives. And Halloween is something that to a horror fan, it's not just a movie. Like we take this to heart. Like this is something we love, we adore, and you're a part of that now. And nothing can ever take away from the fact that you're part of something that to us is more than just a movie. We have people that spend hours dressing up like this guy right here to go to cons. You don't get rom-com con, but that's what we feel for horror. So, and you're a big part of that.
Ooh, I just got a little emotional. No, and I'm gonna tell you why though. What you were saying just resonated with me so well because my mom died in October in 2014, and every October since then has been very hard, very hard. My mom and I were very close. So when you talked about the horror community, like wrapping their arms around me, basically, that's really kind of what happened ever since Halloween Kills was filmed. The cast and crew was there in October for me, in September leading up. And then the during the pandemic, I still had people who were like, still knew that I was in Halloween and was excited about it. So that kept me going. And then this year, I thought that maybe like because the movie was coming out, it'd be easier. And it wasn't. But having all of you just the follows, the comments, the good comments, the bad comments, it didn't matter. Just having you guys around, even if it's just on Instagram or Twitter, it helped me get through October. And I look forward to that happening every October because
it will. I promise.
I feel like I know that's why this happened. I feel everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why I'm in Halloween. There's a reason why October has been difficult for me for years because my aunt died in October as well, my mom's sister, and then my mom died in October. So it's always been hard. And I used to actually post a post that said, I hate October, like when October would come. But you guys made me love October again, and I appreciate you more than you know. So that's why I got a little emotional.
Oh,
So,
I
and I
get it.
thank you all. I thank you, and I thank you. I think everyone who's interested in me, because, and that's why I try to take my time and reply back. If I can't reply back on the comments, I try to like it, and I'm trying to get through my inbox right now. But I just want you all to know that your support and just your following me and all of that just means more than what you will ever know. So thank you.
No, it's an honor for us too. And you know what? I don't want to get too personal with you either, but my mom's right here. You know, she passed away
Oh,
as well. Her birthday is October 28th. So
oh wow.
yeah.
Oh, happy belated birthday to your mom.
And so I get where you're coming from. I'm sorry for the loss of your mom, and people
Thank
that
you.
haven't lost their mom don't know what it feels like. The one constant that was there since literally the day you're born is just
You're
gone.
right.
And
Right. My biggest
it's
supporter.
yeah, it's the heart, you know, like, and then you think about things like your mom walking you on the red carpet during Halloween Kills. You know, my mom never got to see anything Sledgehammer horror. And
Right.
my mom's the reason I'm a horror fan. You know, my mom owned a video store when I was a kid, and we watched horror movies together. And my mom had a huge crush on Jesus Garcia, Rod from Nightmare on Elm Street, and I got to have him on an episode, you know, to honor my mom. And you know, it's these things
I don't
that.
blame her for that one though. I don't blame her for
But I mean,
that.
you talk about everything happens for a reason. I agree with you, and I think that our parents definitely try to steer us in the right direction,
Yes.
even though their job's done here,
Yes.
their job's never done with us. So I think that they're
Oh
still,
no.
you know,
You're
pushing
doing
us in the right
this because
direction.
of your mom, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like not
Yes.
just because your mom had a video store, but because your mom is the wind beneath your wings right now. When you're in
100%.
difficult situations and you make yourself out of it, like it's God in your mom. Like just know that. Like
That's
I feel I'm not the most, like I don't go to church every Sunday, but I am very spiritual. And I feel like my mom, because I know my mom, I know she got up there and got in God's ear and was like, listen, and it was relentless to get
mhm,
her baby to enjoy her life after she
right.
was gone. And acting is part of what I enjoy and love. And I know that I'm doing this because she's the one beneath my wings. And that's what keeps me going as well. So she's put me in the right direction, and I'm taking the ball and I'm running with it. So yeah.
Don't stop.
Thank
Even
you.
if you get winded, run through that brick wall because she's proud of you. But that's
Thank you
why my
so much.
mother's ashes are on a necklace that stay on my chest all the time. You know, she's right in
Right.
my heart all
She's
the
right
time.
here.
So
Yeah.
every day. And
Yes.
it's amazing to have a real conversation with you too, Carmela. I'm sorry that I got
Yes.
you a little emotional, but
Oh, that's okay.
it does make me happy to know that you understand that you're loved and you're supported, and we're always here for you. This community will
Thank you.
always be here. Like you said, the wind beneath your wings, but if that wind gust goes down a little bit, you have a safety net to catch you if you fall. Just reach out to us. We're always here
Thank
for you.
you. Thank you so
Um,
much.
Anytime. But we are going to shift our focus here a little bit. We know what's going on with you now with Halloween Kills and the excitement that you have going on, but I want to take it back to the past, and I want to talk about what got Carmela started in the horror genre. We already talked about it is not John Carpenter's Halloween, but it is a John Carpenter film. So your first horror movie was
The Thing by John Carpenter.
what an amazing start to a
Oh, that's so
horror
good.
life. It is such
Mm.
a great movie. I talk very often about my three favorite practical effect horror movies in no particular order, being A Nightmare on Elm Street, American Werewolf in London, and The
Oh,
Thing.
oh
These
yeah.
movies, when it comes to practical effects, are a work of art. Do you remember how old you were the first time you had seen The Thing?
Carmela is a little old. So I'm gonna tell you this. This will probably put me out there a little bit, but I saw it in the movies with my mom. So my mom had me very young, and we were always together. Like you would see my mom, you would see me. So if my
Yeah.
mom wanted to go see scary movies, which she was into, guess who had to be with her? Me. If my mom wanted to go to a Luther Vandross concert, guess who was with her? Me. Like it was
Yeah.
all you saw her, you saw me. Like it was just she was always with her daughter. So yeah, so that's what we went to go see. And I remember where we saw it at. We saw it on Chestnut Street in Philadelphia. I think it was 15th and Chestnut. And I remember I can see it on the marquee. It's so crazy. Like things back then I can remember, but I can't remember what I ate yesterday. But like I remember things vividly. Like I remember the thing, like where they put the letters up on the marquee, like just sitting there. And I remember thinking it was going to be fun. My mom was like hyping it up because she know darn well if she told me it was scary, I wouldn't want to see it. And then I just remember seeing those crucial parts in the movie that stuck with me. Like to this day, like I watched it not too long ago. And it's timeless, first of all. Like even the man, it's just the movie is so good.
It's amazing. To me, it's always the argument of The Thing versus Halloween 78. These two movies I mean, like, because even what I think one of the most underrated aspects of The Thing is the score. I mean, yeah, obviously Halloween's score is iconic, and everybody, even if you've never seen Halloween, you know the score. But don't sleep on the score of The Thing. If you watch that movie, listen to the score. And I mean, I got little emo goosebumps right now just thinking about the score of this film. And another thing you brought up is the attention to the scenes of this movie. There's a lot of iconic scenery that people that have not seen The Thing might not even know that they've seen parts of this movie parodied or honored in other films. Do you remember which scene it was from The Thing that affected you the most?
The dog scene, when they got the dog and they put him in the crate and he was there with the other dogs, the innocent dogs. And I remember like the dogs crying, like when I was little, like I remember him, because I'm like an animal person. So I remember the dogs crying and we didn't know what was going on at first watching it in the movie. So, you know, like the dogs are just going crazy, but we knew something was kind of up with that dog that they put in there. Then to watch the thing come out of the dog, because it's like the alien come right out of the dog and the dogs are trying to get out and he killed the dogs. Like it was just so much. And then it had the two dog heads and like that. Listen, The Thing keeps you on the end of your seat the whole time. That scene was the first one I remember that like really freaked me out. Then I don't know if I'm getting ahead of you if you're going to ask me this, but then when they go to do the compressions and his hand goes, the chest cavity opens up and the hands go in. I remember that part. Then the other part, the best part, when they all were sitting around in the chairs with the blood and they were trying to see who it was and they were all tied up and they was like, let me out, and let me out. And they was, that thing is so good because you don't know who it is. Can you imagine that? That's like you being around someone and everyone's being like you being with your best friends, all of you being around, and then all of a sudden one of you turns into an alien and you don't know who else it could be. That's scary.
And that's what I think. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then the comparison between The Thing and 78 Halloween, I really think there's kind of no comparison. The score is good. That I've never thought of it that way, but it is very simple and very good too as well. But I feel like The Thing is more in your face. And it could be anybody. Where you got 78, you know, Michael Myers is the person who is after everyone. And well, you know, the people that's in the movie. But not only that, it was done with such what do you say? Simplicity. I guess simplicity. It was simple. There wasn't gore, it wasn't blood, it wasn't in your face, but it was very, very scary. So I think that's a notch to John Carpenter because he was able to do both things. And then, you know, I mean, the man is just a genius.
He is.
And it just shows. And in a lot of ways, I feel like David Gordon Green and him, like I said, everything happens for a reason. I feel like the connection between them two, the similarities between them are kind of eerie, like because it's a lot. Even with his crew, with John Carpenter's crew, like they keep good people around them, and they're creative. They're not to be put in a box. You know, there's just it's just it all happens for a reason.
And obviously, Carpenter trusts David enough to really let him take the reins on one of his babies. So I definitely got to give it up to him for that too. And what you were just saying about The Thing is there's always that feeling of suspense throughout this movie because you're right. You never know who it is. And it could be everybody at this point. And they even start suspecting each other to the point to where the one guy charges Kurt Russell and Kurt Russell shoots him in the head.
Right.
Just turns around and shoots the guy.
And then they put Wilford Brimley all the way out. They put Wilford Brimley out in the cabin by himself. Oh, yeah. Man. Because they didn't trust anyone.
I am badass. Sorry, I had this terrible joke.
No, it's just hilarious when you watch it now, like being older now, watching it like they just isolated the man. Like, oh, I know you tripping. No, you gotta go. You're doing too much. And we don't have time to watch you and watch each other too. So we're gonna put you on over here. And then...
Another thing about this movie that we were just talking about a second ago, the blood test scene. I mean, that's been honored and parodied in everything from South Park. I mean, like, doing the blood test, like, and that's such a scare. The whole scene, you're like, every time he's getting that. And at that moment, when it actually jumps, he doesn't even suspect the guy. He's talking to the other guy. He's like, we're going to do you last because we don't, when it just explodes on him. And then you watch him freaking out in the chair and everybody else is like, you going to do something, bro?
I think it's him.
So, and another thing about this movie is, it is a remake of The Thing from Outer Space. And so I think in that aspect, you could say this is the best remake of all time, but it also made it its own story. Now, when you think about The Thing, what is the first thing that pops into your head?
Oh, just be honest, be very honest, is the coldness. When I think about The Thing, I think about how they're in the middle of nowhere with all this snow. So your environment actually plays a role in your survival. So when they pan out and you see nothing but white snow and just them, they're there by themselves. It's kind of like Alien, where they're in space and like, who can help you? Who can you call? You can't, who's coming? And then if you're like, imagine trying to run or get away if you had to, how? With the snow, the way it is out there. So I always think about the elements. And then now that I'm older and that I've done a movie now, well, 2 movies, I think about how it must have been difficult for Kurt Russell and everyone else. It's John Carpenter, the crew, everyone, the cast and crew, to film in those elements as well. So, so kudos to them because, that's what I think about first though. When I think about that, and then the aesthetic, the practical aesthetics after that.
If you had Ken Sledge in that environment, I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's an alien. Then I'd look out the window and be like, ooh, taking my chance with the alien.
Carmela's not even going to Alaska. So that's it right there. So, So she would have went back home in Haddonfield, and she
text me, let me know how it went.
Right, same thing. You guys are going out there to Alaska for a couple months? All right, well, let me know how that works. I'm going to stay over here in the main office and do...
Heard you don't get a lot of sleep out there. The sun doesn't go down. Have fun.
Right, I'm not going. So
we talked about which scene affected you the most, Carmela, but I want to kind of flip that on its head here for a second. What would you say your favorite scene from The Thing is?
It would be the compressions.
Yeah.
It was on the compressions because we didn't expect that either. We kind of knew what was going on with the dog, like something was off with the dog. We had no idea that was going to happen with the hands. And I can just see how the ridges were and how it took the hands. And then, it's just really good. Even to this day, watching it now, it's still good.
Well, and then right after that, how the monster pops up out of his torso, and then Kurt Russell has to come in with the flamethrower. But when that monster first pops up and then
it grows like the legs, like the spider legs. And it's his head and then it's going around and it's making noise. And it's a lot. That whole room sequence was, that was good. Really good.
Well, and I feel like in the new It movie, they really paid homage to the scene that you were just talking about with the head and how the head ended up growing the legs and starts walking. When you have Stanley's head in the It chapter 1 and it grew the legs, that's the first thing I thought of when I see little spider Stanley. I was like, that's got to be an homage to The Thing, because this movie has such an impact on every horror fan that I've ever talked to. It always comes back to The Thing. So now, Carmela, I want to kind of, again, I'm playing for the Atlanta Braves right now, and I'm throwing a damn good curveball because we talked about your first horror movie and what The Thing means to you. But now My little buddy Ghostface has a question for you. I'm going to go scream on you for a second. What's your favorite scary movie, Carmela? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
Of all time. Whew. You know, if not The Thing, and if not Halloween 78, which would be cliche if I said that one. I'm gonna be very, very honest. And it's funny that you mentioned it. American Werewolf in London. Like I remember watching that, and I remember having a crush on. I forgot who the star is, but he had the curly hair. The curly hair. And I remember
David Naughton.
Okay. And I remember how he transformed. It was so cool. Like so cool. Like I like werewolf stuff too. So I think that's kind of like, but I remember seeing that on TV at home, like on a little TV, like a little 13-inch TV, and watching that and just being taken away by
And
just.
You just brought up one of the most amazing moments in all cinema history. You know, the transformation of him when he's like, Jesus Christ, I'm hot. And like he looks at his hand,
the way his hands, yes.
And the good thing about American Werewolf in London that I don't think, and people that have never seen it are just like, oh, it's a werewolf movie. No. American Werewolf in London is an amazing practical effect movie. It's a love story. It's a comedy. It's everything. And it's one of the most perfect movies. And, you know, the relationship of Nurse Alex and David is amazing. And something else I want to bring up that I don't think gets paid enough attention to. Jack gets killed by the werewolf, and then he comes to David in visions. And every time David sees Jack, he's deteriorated a little more and more. He doesn't look the same. You know, he's always. And is he deteriorating with David's mental state? Or, you know, like there's so many questions that go unanswered throughout the whole movie that it just makes it the perfect love story, horror movie, comedy.
Anything you want
everything.
To be. Right. Because it has everything for everyone. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I got two more questions for you. Now, they have The Thing 2011. I do not count that as a remake of The Thing because it's a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Yes. So now I always ask this to people on movies that are coming out now. Would you like to see a remake of The Thing done today?
No. I think what they did with 2011 was perfect. And I think we should leave it just like that.
The only problem I have with 20... No, go ahead.
No, you have a problem with... No, I want to hear it. No, the problem with 2011.
The only problem I have with it is the overabundance of CGI. It's the same problem I have with A Nightmare on Elm Street and American Werewolf in Paris. Like I said, those three movies are my favorite practical effect movies of all time. And if you watch the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, the Thing prequel, and the sequel to American Werewolf in Paris, the overabundance use of CGI in those movies in comparison to how amazing the practical effects were. And I'm not anti-CGI, just like I'm not anti-remake. I think if you do something right, it can be done beautifully. CGI used to enhance practical effects can be flawless and amazing. But when you watch back The Thing 2011, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and American Werewolf in Paris, the CGI doesn't hold up at all. Like you watch the scene in The Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy does this over top of Nancy's bed through the latex. And then you watch it in the remake where it's all CGI and it's moving. It just doesn't look as good.
It doesn't look right.
So that's the only issue I have with them remaking things like The Thing, A Nightmare on Elm Street, American Werewolf. There's been talks of them doing a Lost Boys remake. I'm down for it. Let's see it.
But you want to see it?
Honestly, I do, because there's a lot of remakes that I really, really like. The Child's Play remake, I think is fantastic. I think it's amazing. I think that they took, what I love is when you take the idea of the original and you make it your own. Don't do a remake where I've already seen it and modernize it. I don't want to see that. I've already seen this, and I've seen it better, honestly, with the practical effects they used back in the 70s, 80s. That's what my bread and butter. That's what I grew up with. That's what I love. But you take the Child's Play, for example, and it's a completely different doll, a completely different voice, because you can't do Charles Lee Ray again. That's already been done, and you're not going to touch that. So they made the best decision to take it in a whole new direction. And I'm going to go one better. The Evil Dead from 2013. I think that the Evil Dead 2013 is better than the original Evil Dead. I think Evil Dead 2 is my favorite, but 2013 made so much damn sense to me. This girl is she's suffering from a heroin addiction, and she wants to kick it so bad. So what do? They take her to a secluded cabin where she can't get to any of her hookups, and you're going to stay here until we get you clean. We brought a doctor with us. That's our friend. It's a nurse, but we brought you a medical professional that's going to be able to help us get you through this. And we're going to do this together. And then they stumble upon the book and the evil comes. It's not just a bunch of kids partied in the woods cliche. They took that and they made it their own, and they made it so damn intelligent the way that they did that remake, in my opinion. Now, remember, everybody, just opinion. If you like Evil Dead more than the remake, I perfectly accept that as well. But they kept it practical. They made the story make sense, and they made you feel things. You felt a genuine love between brother and sister in that movie when he's watching her on that bed, and when she's dumping the heroin down the well. I'm kicking this stuff forever this time. You guys are here to help me. That's what I love. I want you to make me feel something and make me feel like I'm watching a new movie. I don't want to. If I want to watch the original, I'll go watch it again.
Right.
I don't have to have it modernized, but make it your own. If you want to do it, make it your own. That's my big thing with a remake.
I think that was the thing about the Thing 2011 is that they made it their own. Because I remember I was looking for little pieces in it that was like John Carpenter. So I was like, oh, they're trying to make it their own, but it's not. And then when it ended up as us realizing it's the prequel, I was like, that's so brilliant. So like, I guess that's probably why and even I thought that the CGI was just a sign of the times now. Like, this is where we are. Like, so I tried to pay more attention to the story itself. So I think I try to do that when it's like that, unless it's just overboard, when it's too much and it's just like, okay, I can't even make it through this because it's too much CGI. So
if you get the chance, go on YouTube and just type in The Thing 2011 practical effects. They shot a practical effect version of the film, and then the studio stepped in and was like, we're going to do this. But a lot of the practical stuff made its way to YouTube. So you could, it looks really awesome. I'm hoping that I'm still crossing my fingers that one day we'll get a director's cut practical release of The Thing 2011 so I can watch the whole thing. But you're right. Their hearts are in the right spot. And when you see that ending, you know, as a fan, you're just blown away. Like, no way did they just do that to me. So I completely agree with you. So my last question for you, Carmela, we're going to go back to John Carpenter's The Thing. And I think I know the answer, but I got to ask. What we're going to do is we're going to rank this on a skull count. 0 skulls being the worst and 5 being the best. Here's the catch. We're not critics right now. We're not judging it on direction, acting, lighting, sound design, none of that. What we're doing right now is you're ranking this movie strictly on how much this movie affected you on first viewing. With this being your start to the horror world, sometimes it doesn't affect people at all. Sometimes it affects them so much they don't sleep with sheets on their bed because they're scared they're going to get hung with them. So The Thing, what would you rank that? 0 being the worst, 5 being the best on a skull count?
Oh, it's already going to be a 5. Hands down. Hands down 5. Because it's special to me too. Like, this is the first one I ever remember seeing with my mom. So, and there was many after that, like every Friday the 13th, you know, there was like any movie she wanted to see. But I believe that one, even though it gave me nightmares, it was the one that we both came out talking about. Like, I remember just like being excited about it, where a lot of times my mom would take me and I'd be so scared after we leave out. Like, I remember one time she took me to, I know I'm going on a tangent. She took me to there was this movie theater called the Capitol in West Philadelphia. And the movie theater was already scary. Like, it was already dark, and it wasn't like one of our main theaters. It was, you know, and it was a triple feature. And at the end of the triple feature was Nightmare on Elm Street when it first came out. So it was like 2 other movies, kind of like B movies that was before that. And then you had to sit through those, and then you had to watch Nightmare on Elm Street. And I remember my mom being so mad at me because by the time we got through the 2, there was no way in the world I could make it through Nightmare on Elm Street. So we had to leave, and my mom was so mad. Yeah, but yeah, that's the experience is what I remember with my mom. So that being the first, that will always have a huge part in my heart. And then just how I told you, everything happens for a reason. Like, what's the chances of me working closely, like, with a John Carpenter project? Like, how does that happen? Like, and then not only that, Keith David came to a school that I was acting in, and I performed in front of him. So it was like everything is the thing to me. Like everything goes back to that some kind of way. So yeah. And maybe I'll work with Kurt Russell one day because
that'd be so dope.
Golden. That would be golden. Can I tell you how many times I saw Tango and Cash in the movies? Oh my God. And Overboard and all of that. Like Kurt Russell is like, and you see how he still looks great.
Well, he was just in the new what was that? Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He was a part of that.
It's still looking like, okay, Goldie Hawn, I see what you did there. Yep. I see what you did there.
And it's funny, you brought up Overboard. And I'm not making this up, guys. I'll get my sister to come on here and verify this. Overboard was my mother's favorite movie with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Like, it's like you're just talking about it. And it's just so funny how that's the movie you bring up. Like, it's so funny. Like, I can't make that up. I'm not going to on the spot and go, oh, Overboard with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. You know, like, no. That and Flowers in the Attic were my mom's two favorite movies.
Flowers in the Attic is so good. Oh, see,
I consider Flowers in the Attic a horror film. 100%. That's a horror film to me.
Yeah, wouldn't you be scared if you were just stuck up there like that? And then what happens at the end, like how it all twists, because the mom was so good, the actress, because you just really felt like, and I've read the book, of course, but just to see her like transition like that, and like you really felt, and then the little boy with the list, he had the little list when he was talking. Oh, so cute. But yeah,
and I know you can't tell right now, but growing up, I had really, really blonde, curly hair.
Oh, you had the hair like his?
Like that boy. So Carmela, this to me has been an incredible experience, and for you to open up to us the way you have, this interview has meant more to me than you can ever know. And
thank you. I'm so glad your mom was with us. She was with us.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For you to
my
bring
mom
that
was always with me, but I know your mom was with us. Yeah.
That blew my mind, and I hope to be able to work with you again in the future.
Of course.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. I have a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Everybody else, I know I said it at the top and I said it in the middle, but you know what? Now it's time for the third act. Follow all the social media links down here in the description. She's an amazing human being on top of being an amazing actress. And she's somebody that really genuinely tries to reach out and communicate with all her fans. So make sure that you're giving her a follow. I promise you, you won't regret it. As always, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.